I'm just scared that he's gonna see this video, that's all. Don't you know, girl, I am the one for you. I'd just like to say, go ahead and get your merch before it sells out. It's great fabric, great print, check it out, and check my rates, my 4.5 star rating. If you don't believe me, we have great feedback on our clothing items. Link is in description and in bio, and yeah, you should just get one, because if you don't, you live under a rock. Thank you. Of all the relationships in my life I have been in, this is probably the most scariest I've ever been in. When you look at 12 to 13-year-old relationships, you think to yourself, wow, they don't even mean anything. Wow. Like, I'm 15 right now, I'm 15, so relationships for me are becoming a massive thing, and they're becoming more serious than you would say they are when you're 12 and you're 13. That doesn't change what I think about 12 and 13-year-old relationships. To be honest, I have counted my relationships from when I was 4 years old, and I still count them as relationships, because if someone asks you out and you say yes, that means you were dating, full stop, no matter your age. But still, you do have different levels. Like, when you're 12, oh my god, all they do is hug. Correct. All you do is have the balls to hug when you're 12, but you're 12. But when you're 15, you do a lot more. You kiss, you hug, you hold hands, you do all that more and more stuff. But it's kind of like, when I was 13, I had the most traumatic experience. Hey everyone, it's Miss Saskia. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm sorry that I sound very sick at the moment. I am very sick at the moment. My voice is absolutely done, and I have to sing Thursday, and I don't know if I can. So I'm going to bring to you a story time on the time when I was 13 and I had a very traumatic relationship. And just like I said prior, just before, 13-year-old relationships may or may not matter to people, but to me, going through this experience, it really did open up my eyes, and it really did bring a lot of things, and it really does count for me. So that's just me, that's my life, that's just my experience. So just for privacy reasons, we're going to call this guy Jacob. So Jacob and I, we were long mates. We were mates for a very long time, I think since we were 10. So yeah, pretty much I'd tell him everything and he'd tell me everything, and we thought each other was so cool, you know. We always talked, we always chatted, we'd always call. And eventually one day he asked me out, because I actually really grew massive feelings for him. And one day he asked me out, and of course, knowing me, I said yes. I like him, of course I'm gonna go out with him. So I said yes, and it went good for like 2 months. And then after those, we went to the movies, we went got food, etc. And this is when YouTube was doing me really well. So obviously, before YouTube decided to cut revenue for YouTubers, well, didn't decide to cut it, but make it a little bit less than I used to earn. I used to earn so much, now I don't earn as much, so it's kind of anyway. So that's when YouTube was doing me good, and I could buy anything I wanted. It was so cool. Anyway, moving on. So we went out, we got food, we went to the movies, all that stuff. And on probably about our 5th date was when I really started to see a change in him. I noticed that he got very aggressive. If I saw an old friend, because I had this old friend, we're going to call him, think of a boy named Oscar. So we're going to call him Oscar. He walked past me at the shopping centre, and he said hi, and I said hi. And if I have a guy best friend, I hug them, because every once in a while, I have a lot of guy friends, and I hug them every once in a while. And Jacob went off. He threatened to beat him up, etc. And I said, babe, it's literally just my old friend. I've known him since I came out the womb. And then he's like, I don't care. You just hugged another boy. And then it got into one massive argument, and it just got really bad. Then eventually one day, he came over, and we were just sitting down. I was on my Instagram feed, and I got a text from Oscar, just sending me a meme. And again, he texted him threatening to bash him, threatening me, saying he'll break up with me if I keep continuing to be friends with Oscar. Obviously, I didn't want to not be friends with Oscar. Oscar was there for me way more than Jacob was, way before I met him. But that's only the start of it. So then eventually, when I was at school, he would send me spam. He would not leave me alone. He would start telling me that I had to find my friends on, find my iPhone on my phone all the time. And if I didn't, he'd think I'm cheating, and then he'd tell everyone that I was a skank. And it was very scary. It wasn't nice, and it's something that a 13-year-old shouldn't have to go through, because at 13 you're starting to really have your serious relationships, and this really wasn't a good step into that type of life. So obviously my first attempt into a serious relationship failed for me. So yeah. Anyway, moving on. Then eventually I would walk past and he would punch me, and I'd be like, what are you doing? Anyway, moving on. So pretty much then it would start getting harder and harder and harder each time he would hit me. And it was kind of, I'm just sitting here is this really a joke anymore? Is it really a joke? Or are you doing it because you're angry? It would come to pinching, it would come to slapping, it would come to biting, and ever since then, I have been so scared with my relationships. With my current boyfriend at the moment, he accepts me, I've told him this exact story. He told me he'd never do anything like that to me, and I believe him. I have had many relationships like this since I was 13, and it's honestly caused a lot of trauma, and it's honestly caused a lot of untrust, not being able to trust people. I'm just scared that he's gonna see this video, that's all. Anyway, and then eventually I went to one of my friends and said, I can't do this anymore. I'm sick of being anxious every time he calls me. I'm sick of having a panic attack every single time I see him. Can't do it anymore. And this guy was any guy you could dream of. Think of someone you think is hot times 2. So obviously I didn't want to leave him, but I had to, if that makes sense. And it was almost if I left him, it felt like he was capable of doing something, because he wasn't 13, he was nearly 15. So right now he'd be nearly 17 to this day. So he can nearly drive, which is scary to think. But it's kind of, eventually, one day after school, I said to him, are you free this weekend? And he's like, yeah, I'm free. And I'm just like, okay, that was quick. He never replies that quick, and he just said, yeah, I'm free. And then I went to Harbour Town with him. And obviously I brought a friend with me, but my friend was disguised sitting at a restaurant. I brought 2 friends actually with me. I brought 2 friends, and they were sitting at a restaurant disguised, getting ready if anything happened, and getting ready so I wouldn't be alone at the shopping centre afterwards, because we were going to go shopping after. He showed up, he hugged me, and he said, do you want to go into the movie? And I said, I can't go in, Jacob, I can't. And he said, why not? And I said, us isn't working, we can't be together. After everything you've put me through, after everything you've done, you've made me not be friends with Owen anymore. Owen or Oscar, okay? I keep switching the names. Owen and Oscar are the same people. I keep switching the names, I apologise. You don't want me to be friends with Oscar anymore, and I can't leave a friendship that strong. he started yelling. He didn't take it lightly. He took it very hard. And he said, after all the shit I've done for you, you just leave me like this? And I got so scared. He started to walk close to me and I started backing away, and then my friends eventually came up, told him to like F off, and he said, you haven't heard the last of me, and he walked away. It's been 2 years, I haven't heard from him since, and I don't want to hear from him. Every day I dread a phone call, I dread a text message, and every time I hear my phone go off, I do think it's him. Like, something this traumatic doesn't go off your mind. Me as a 15-year-old girl when I was 13, looking back at it, I was way more terrified than I am now. Now I am more capable than I wasn't. Because he did, scrap that. I actually did get a text from him the other day. I came home from school and I got a text from him and I started shaking, and I opened it and it said, hey, long time no see, you're really hot now, like, do you want to catch up? And I said, sorry, I can't, I've got a boyfriend. And before he could do anything or try and find out who he was, I blocked him and completely removed him from any social contact from me completely. You don't think that this would happen to you until it does. And when a 13-year-old comes up to you and says, I'm in a toxic relationship, don't laugh at them, because you really don't know their definition of a toxic relationship. If you're talking about someone that's hit them once, that's not a toxic relationship. But if they're talking about someone who has done it multiple times and is being constantly aggressive with them, you need to help them out no matter their age. Even if they're 4, even if they're 10, even if they're 56, you've got to help them. And that's your responsibility as a human being, to look out for everyone else. And it's at the point where this experience doesn't escape my mind. It's on my mind every single day. Every time I go out, what if I see him? Every time I'm inside, what if he comes to my house? Every time I'm on my phone, what if he finds a way to contact me? This doesn't leave my mind. It's always on my mind. And it was so traumatic that I don't think I could go through that again without going insane. It was way worse than me explaining it. Me explaining it doesn't sound as bad as what it was. I'm sorry this video was like so down. I just had to talk about it. I needed to be open about it. Because everyone wonders why I'm so scared to talk about relationships, and this is why. Because it just comes into my mind every single time I talk about it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you want to see more videos like this, let me know down below. I apologise for my voice today. I can't really talk that loudly. A, my parents are sleeping, and B, I have, wow, almost like died. I have a cold and it's putting massive strain on my voice, so I do apologise. Stay happy, stay safe, and stay kawaii, and I'll see you in my next video on Wednesday. Bye.